Hey guys, you're watching the Plain Bagel. Welcome to another question and answer video. Today I wanted to start things off by giving a quick shout out to another small finance channel, Brandon Beavis Investing. Brandon comes to us from the other side of Canada in beautiful British Columbia. I've been following him for some time and he's been seeing a lot of good growth lately. And I wanted to give him kind of the spotlight to just highlight another, what I think is a great creator in the Canadian finance small YouTube space. He does a lot of videos where he analyzes specific companies, as well as some similar to what I do, education-based videos. One of my favorite ones is called The Magic Penny. It's a bit different from what he normally does, but covers the concept of compounding pretty nicely. So I'll leave a link in the description down below that you can go check out. And let me know your thoughts. Anyway, today we're doing another question and answer video. As always, we take questions from the YouTube comment section and from Reddit and we answer them. If you have any questions in the future, leave a comment down below and we'll do our best to get to them. So without further ado, first question.
Stephen Walker asked, Horizon has a marijuana ETF. Any thoughts on this?
I've actually heard about this security before and I don't like to talk about individual positions, but there's something curious to mention about this ETF. Firstly, not all the companies in the ETF are actually marijuana companies. If you look, the fifth largest position is Scott's Miracle-Gro. Scott's Miracle-Gro is a gardening supply company, and the reason why they're in the ETF is because they've signed some deals with marijuana companies to supply different, different equipment. So that's why they're in that ETF, but you might not expect that just looking at a marijuana ETF. The second thing, which is kind of also odd, is that the ETF pays a distribution, which is similar to a dividend. Even though the underlying securities, very few of them pay dividends. Most startup companies don't pay dividends. And yet I think their dividend yield is around 5%, if I'm not mistaken. How they do that is they take shares in the ETF and they basically rent them out. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I just wanted to highlight that that's an interesting thing that's happening with this ETF is it's also paying you an income, even though the stocks it's holding don't pay income themselves.
Il's Shizzle, this guy, asked, on a 0 to 10 crazy scale, how would you rate someone that shorts weed stock in 2018?
Yeah, shorting's kind of a curious thing. So for those who don't know, shorting is the opposite of buying a stock. So sometimes when you buy stock, people say that you're going long a position, and when you short, it means that you sell a position now and then buy it later. It's kind of complex in terms of how it works, but basically it means that you will make money if the stock's price falls. So you're betting against the stock price. But there are things you need to know about shorting. For example, one thing about shorting is you have to post what's called a margin when you take a short position. So let's say I wanted to short $10,000 worth of a position. Typically, wherever I short that position will require me to have $15,000 in an account there as kind of like a collateral, so that they know that if I don't make money on my position, I'll be able to pay them back. The other thing about shorting, specifically the marijuana industry, is it's really dangerous to short speculative areas. And that's because prices could shoot up at any time. Because there's so much speculation, prices tend to be more volatile than in other areas. And the second thing there is sometimes these companies can end your position prematurely. So if there's something that happens that will hurt, that they believe will diminish your chance of paying them back, then they might end your position early. They might force you to go and buy back the share to negate the short position. The other thing with shorting a position is that you technically face unlimited risk. The reason for that is because if you sell a position today and know that at some point in the future you'll have to buy it back, the price today versus the price tomorrow could technically change infinitely. So it could go from a price of $1 to $10,000. It's unlikely, but you face that risk of a stock going up 100%, 200%, 500%. And that's obviously a risk because if the position stays at that level, then you're stuck with the other side of that. You're stuck with negative 500% return. So there's a lot more risk with a short position than with a long position, because when you buy a share, the most you can lose is the money you spent to buy the share.
James Serrano asks, Richard, how do you balance working at work, running this YouTube channel, reading a lot, and your personal life? I know time management is key, but what strategies do you use?
Yeah, so I won't lie, like the YouTube channel takes up a lot of time, but luckily I have Noah's help. He's been helping me quite a bit and giving me free labor, which,
Best kind of labor.
the best kind of labor, the real reason for friendship. I'm the kind of person who always wants to be busy. So on my lunch breaks, I work on these videos. I edit on my lunch break. When I'm home on the weekends, sometimes I'll edit. I actually quite enjoy making these videos. I enjoy doing the animation, and Noah helps me film. I do the animation work. So we have a bit of a team there, and that helps obviously a bunch to have that extra helping hand, especially when it comes to mentoring and stuff like that. But yeah, you know what, like it is a lot of work, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And honestly, having a community that enjoys the videos I make, that helps so much, and it makes it all worth it, absolutely. I don't know if I offered any tips for time management, but work hard. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on international weed opportunities?
A lot of weed questions this week.
It's almost like you released a weed video.
It's almost like I released a weed video. Some of the big players in the marijuana space are going international. It's kind of been the headlines lately as well.
But there are two sides to the argument. On the one side, some people believe that marijuana demand will eventually reach alcohol consumption levels, meaning that there's not only opportunity in North America, but around the world. But on the other side, some groups believe that marijuana demand is going to largely remain within North America for the foreseeable future, meaning that domestic demand is going to outweigh international demand.
It's hard to know. You never know which country is going to legalize marijuana at what time and stuff like that. But just keep in mind that marijuana is still a largely illegal drug throughout the world.
But then again, that's something that could change. So obviously there's a wide range of opinions out there about which way marijuana demand is going to go. And you're just gonna have to do the research yourself and come to your own conclusions.
And that's all the questions we have. And before we finish the video, today is probably the last Q&A video we'll have with our good friend Noah Lefebvre, who's been shooting these from the beginning with me. When I started 2 years ago, but only posted my first video a year ago, he's been helping me along the way, and I'm sorry for kind of putting him on the spot behind the camera, but I just want to take a chance to really thank him. Show my appreciation. I've learned so much from him in terms of video editing, in terms of shooting, and he's been nothing less of a mentor and a friend throughout this whole thing. So thank you, Noah. We're gonna miss you, and I need to replace you with someone else who will do free labor for me. So
No problem. They'll be inferior.
anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and see you next time. Cheers.